We're here tonight at the building campaign launch dinner for the JRCC East Thornhill. We're really excited that we finally found the place to build our own local community center here in East Thornhill on Yonge Street. And we're here together tonight celebrating this monumentous occasion, as well as obviously trying to fundraise the needed amounts to pay for this project. It's going to be a gorgeous, nice show with a social hall, a place for people to gather, to celebrate. And we're really celebrating here tonight this new project. People will be coming shortly. We'll have cocktails. People will socialize. Following that, we'll have a very nice dinner downstairs. At the dinner, my father, Rabbi Zaltzman, will say a few words. We have a slideshow prepared for people to see some of the programming that we've done. I'll say a few words as well. We also prepared a really nice video presentation, a video of the Rebbe talking and demanding for one to challenge himself, never be happy with what he's done until today, and to always look at how one can continue to grow and to do more. Following that, we will also show a small clip of two Toronto individuals, Herb and Rhoda Singer, that went together with my father to the Rebbe in 1990. And Mr. Singer tells the Rebbe that Rabbi Zaltzman's synagogue at 18 Rockford has become small and we want to build a larger, new place. And the Rebbe tells him, this is in 1990, that we should do it quickly because shortly many more Jews will be leaving from the former Soviet Union. Many of them will come to Toronto, and therefore the faster we finish, that place will become small and we'll need another place. So here we are tonight at the launch of yet one more JRCC location serving the Jewish Russian community here in the GTA. It's exciting, and we're here to celebrate that. Thank you. Okay, let's take a picture. Ima, hello. Yeah, one of the guests is coming. One of his friends just came in. Okay, right here, please. Let's get a nice smile. Right here, right here.
On behalf of Why Was I Travel, we're very thrilled that we're involved in fundraising event for the new Russian Jewish Community Center, and we're among all my colleagues and friends and possibly new friends that I'm hoping to meet, and we're very thrilled and excited. So Why Was I Travel all the way to JRCC East Community Center. Thanks.
I just like to say a few words to wish Rabbi well, Rabbi Zaltzman, and all the other rabbis. Congratulations for having made the decision to build that beautiful new building. And I'm sure that the Jewish community in Toronto and also in Ontario, perhaps even elsewhere, will support him. He deserves the support because for so many years he helped the Jewish community to develop and bring back Russian people to Judaism. All the best to him. Mazel tov.
As a couple of Russian Jews, my wife Alla was born in Kiev, Ukraine, and myself in Odessa, Ukraine. We are absolutely proud to be part of this just explosion of Jewishness and identity. And we wish the best to the Jewish Russian Community Center to continue to grow and to bring Jewish life into all of the Russian Jews that are in community and all of the Jews in Toronto and across Canada. We're very proud to be part of this.
As we are here at the building campaign dinner for JRCC East Thornhill, as the chairman of the board, Igor, how do you see this?
I think it's a very important occasion, not only for East Thornhill, but for all Russian Jewish community in Toronto, and actually for the whole Jewish community of the city. What we're doing is opening a beautiful place on the main street of the city, that is Yonge Street. And this place is going to service people and teach them Yiddishkeit. And yes, we had other places before, and yes, we had smaller places before, and yes, we didn't start. This is not the first time we're going to provide these services, but this will allow us to do much more for the Jewish community.
Yeah, that's true.
So now we are opening a 10th location for the Russian Jewish community. Is it any different from the first 9?
Well, it's the same, serving the Russian community in different neighborhoods. It's different, it's serving the community in this neighborhood, and this is building a place, a permanent home for these activities. And also I think it's very special, it's on Yonge Street, with an address on Yonge Street, on a major street in Toronto. Actually, I understand this is the first Jewish institution on Yonge Street.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's very symbolic that this place is on Yonge Street. This is a main street of our city that runs for many, many, many kilometers. People say this is the longest street in North America, or maybe not in the world. So having a Jewish Russian community place on this street is very important.
Good evening. We're here today celebrating the event of the Jewish Russian Community Center and fundraising to present this new building and have it built in the community. And it's always a wonderful thing to be involved in fundraising and for the Jewish community and all of the charitable events that they present to us to be a part of.
Okay, my name is Sam Fernandez, and I'm here with a lot of my good friends who invited me to this fundraising, and I hope that we achieve our goals today and we celebrate a good evening together. And I'm just glad I'm here and being honored to be part of the group. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for coming to join the dinner of the building campaign of the JRCC East Thornhill. I was told this is the first Jewish institution on Yonge Street. We're going to call it JRCC East Thornhill, but somebody offered to maybe to call it the Shul on Yonge Street. The Rebbe taught us that we live with the Parsha of the week. And I'm sure we're all still under the shock of the terrorist attack in Paris, especially at the Jewish market, where was a kosher market, supermarket. And in many minds, there are some say, okay, we have to run to Israel. And some say we have to create a system of heavy security around every Jewish institution. And some say we should lower our profile, we should be less visible. But in today's Parsha of the week, it's remarkable. The Torah tells us that the Israelites, the Jewish people, before leaving Egypt, when Moshe Rabbeinu told them, the time of redemption has come, and we are soon leaving Egypt. And Moses tells to the Jewish people, take a lamb, and we know this was the idol of Egypt, and bring it as a sacrifice for the holiday of Pesach that is coming. That was actually the day of Pesach. Pesach was created. And you needed a lot of courage. People who were slaves for almost 200 years in the land of Egypt, and now take the idol of your master, of your king, and say, I'm going to bring it as an offering. Says the Torah, the Jews did it, and right after that, they actually went free, left Egypt. The Rebbe taught us, the Rebbe who is the driving force of Lubavitch World Movement, of the JRCC in Toronto, the JRCC of East Thornhill, here where we are, as well, says that when a time of challenge comes, we don't buckle, we don't give in. We actually only increase in our resilience, in our presence, in our commitment to what we stand for. We stand for to bring godliness, spirituality, goodness, and kindness to this world, to make this world a better place to live. And therefore, what we're doing tonight, thanks to you, is we're helping, participating, putting a foundation. There's still much more to do for the JRCC of East Thornhill, who is ready under the able leadership of the Rabbi and Rebbetzin of Mendel and Chana Zaltzman, who are serving the community, developing it for the last couple of years. And deserves. And now we came to the point that we were before poor children, so to speak, being in here rental place, holidays here, and the other holiday here, high holidays in Hilda, whoever knows, and the what is it called, in the house, the Arnold House, and the Gala Library. And now finally we'll have a home that will be able to host more people, more programs, and enrich the lives of the individuals and the community. And it's not just, this is in East Thornhill, but it's a boost for the larger Russian community and the larger Jewish community. So our response to this has to be, we're not running anywhere. We are staying where we are. Is it Toronto, or is it Paris, or Tel Aviv, or Moscow? We're here to bring more light, and increase in goodness and kindness. And that's our spiritual answer to the darkness. And also the statement to the world, to the entire world, to teach them and show them an example, how do you deal with darkness and terror. To say we are here, we're proud, we're visible, we're not afraid, we're here to stay. And goodness and kindness will prevail. So we're here to stay in East Thornhill so far, till Mashiach comes and tells us where to move. But till then, we're here. So we wish it's a personal pleasure as well to wish my son Mendel and Rebbetzin to much success in the community, in their own family with children. And I will thank you for your attention. I will ask everybody to look to the screens. We'll see some activities of the East Thornhill. Thank you.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome the Deputy Mayor of Vaughan, who just entered. Thank you, Michael. Wow. I stand here before you in awe, humbled and honored, if you can put the two together. And I would like to start with first thanking those who made this evening possible. Firstly, our hosts, Aaron, who gave us his gorgeous home to use. And then Roy and Monica, who have sponsored many of the costs of tonight's evening. I want to thank many others who have sponsored things this evening. Our photographer, Vlad from Concord Photography. Our videographer, Leo from Studio 9. As well as Aaron Schechter, who from Bounce Entertainment, who provided us with the sound, uplighting, and screens for tonight. Mike and Amanda Lefkov, who donated the chairs, tables, linen, and decor of tonight's evening as well. And of course, my wife, Chani, who without her this evening wouldn't happen. I want to jump back for a moment to our hosts, and I would like to show our appreciation to the two hosts of tonight's evening. I'd like to begin with Aaron and ask him to come forward, and I would want to invite my father to join as well. Presented in appreciation to Aaron Davidson, JRCC East Thornhill Building Campaign Launch Dinner, January 22nd, 2015, 2nd of Shvat, 5775.
if you missed another picture it was built in this house, so it's one more.
Well, it's a blessing for the home. That's what it is. And I felt that if the dinner is in a home, it would be the right thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Next, I would like to call up Roy and Monica, and for this, I would like to ask my wife to join me. We have here a nice tefillin bag and talis bag that has your name on it. In Hebrew, I got the spelling from Jake.
Thank you. That's lovely.
Go ahead. You gotta face the crowd. Just two? That's it. That's a third.
Thank you. This is lovely. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it.
I was supposed to prepare it for you, and I waited, and thank God you didn't ask me. I think that was it for the thank yous. So let me just say, last January, a year ago today, I was in Israel with the Prime Minister as part of his delegation. One of the events that took place was at Tel Aviv University, where the university gave Harper an honorary doctorate. And so at this event, Ron Choldai, who is the mayor of Tel Aviv, spoke, and I said this at the High Holidays if you were there. So I apologize for you hearing this again. But Ron Choldai got up to speak, and he started off with saying that his father taught him years ago 3 rules when you get up to speak. The first is you should stand so they should see you. You should talk loud so they should hear you. And you should shut up so they should like you. That was his introduction, so I'm going to try and be short. In just a few weeks, my wife and I will celebrate 10 years since we joined the JRCC here in Toronto and had the honor of joining and becoming shluchim, emissaries of the Rebbe. Our start was very humble. We had a small minyan up at the Gala library, just a small group of people that came on Shabbos. We struggled to have 10. We had people walking from Bathurst Street to make sure that it happened. And most of my time was actually focused in our head office, running programs, etc., and getting to know people in the community, as many of you that I got to know over these years. The slideshow that you just saw shows some of the programs that have developed over these years. And it didn't take long before we realized that where we are is not going to work. We need to find something else. Pretty much any program we want to do can't be in our loft that we have some days, we don't have other days. Purim, we don't choose when it is, but if someone else booked the space, we can't have it, etc., etc. So the search began and went on, looking from one place to another. It's not an easy thing to do. Find a place that's available. And finally, we found this Minto water garden that was going up. And we heard that they have space on the main floor for sale. It seemed to be the best of all the options. And so here we are a year later, deep $3.2 million into a project, into a campaign. So sometimes I stand there and I think to myself, how did I get into this? I jumped into a project without having $1 pledged. No clue where and how we're going to make. I mean, I knew obviously my father would help me. I knew that the JRC headquarters would do something, and they've been obviously a great help. But still, we need to raise all this money. So let me share a story with you. My grandfather, shortly after he left Russia in the early 1970s with my father as a child, he went into the Rebbe for a private audience. And in this yichidus, in this private audience, the Rebbe told him that he should put out a record. He's a chazan. Time passed, it didn't happen. And at one point, the Rebbe was pushing him, why doesn't the record come out? And he finally said, I don't have the money to do it. So the Rebbe looked at him, the Rebbe smiled and said, with Stalin you managed, and with $2,000 you can't. So I know I'm preaching to the converted. Everybody that's here is obviously here because they understand the project, they care for it, they realize that it's something that's important to do. And I'm very thankful to all of you for being here and for joining us in this project. As I said, it's not a cheap project. And, for some people, maybe $3 million is pocket change. But for most of us, it's not. And I sat with many of you over last year, we discussed what the project is and what it's going to cost, and the details, the drawings, etc. You have in the journal in front of you an update if you want to see the numbers where they are now, the pictures of construction. So I want to update you basically on two things. Number one is that, thank God, we're in the construction phase already. We have our drawings done, we got our permits. We started construction about a month ago, and hopefully we should be able to move in on time for Pesach in just over 2 months. The second update is that from our 3.2 million, we are just over half in commitments. We have 1.7 committed, and we have still 1.5 ahead of us. Obviously, we have some work still. We still have some work ahead. So I'm going to conclude with a story that I heard about Rabbi Kunin, who's the director of Chabad of California. Now, just as an introduction, he's a really bold personality. So I'm repeating what he said with the guts that he had, and So some years back, he had this gathering. There was a group of Jews. I don't know exactly what the project he was doing was, but he sat down with them. He told them, this is what the project is. This is how much money we need to raise, etc., etc. And when he finished, he said, I have good news and bad news. Everyone's looking at him new. He says, the good news is that we have all the money. The bad news is that it's still in your pockets. So I'll conclude with that. Thank you, and dinner will be served.
My name is Daniel Davidson. I'm Aaron Davidson's son. I wanted to thank the JRCC for giving us the opportunity to support you with the use of our house tonight for this fantastic fundraising dinner. Our family has been touched by the JRCC for many, many years, ever since my parents moved to Canada. They've been with us through the best of times and through the worst of times, and through it all they've offered us their never-ending support, and so we are very happy to offer our continued support of the JRCC as they move to their new permanent home on Yonge Street, and we hope to be part of their growing family for many, many years to come.
I have a feeling that I built a home many years ago, and now it's a good time to build a shul where I will go. So it's not about giving, it's about doing something for ourselves, to build a place where we all will go. And therefore I decided to give $375,000 for the community hall. For the community hall of this shul, to make sure that it will be a shul where we all will go together. And please join it.
Thank you very much.
Next one.
Thank you, Marat, for your donation. I feel very inspired, especially by the video. And we have a long history with the Zaltzmans. Rabbi Zaltzman actually reminded me today, but I didn't need a lot of reminders, that nearly 20 years ago, he flew to New York and he married us. So I'm very grateful to the Zaltzmans, and it just so happens that about a year ago, we bought a house in a neighborhood just 2 streets from here. And we didn't know that this was going to happen, but by Hashgacha Pratis, it turns out that opening week is going to be around the same week we're moving into our new home. So it'll be a wonderful occasion to visit a new shul. And I think that a good story this coming week, next week, we're going to start reading the Parsha of Beshalach. And the Parsha of Beshalach is the splitting of the sea. And the first one to jump, the Jews were stuck at the sea, as everyone knows the story. And there was one Jew, Nachshon ben Amminadab. He decides that he's going to take the plunge. Everybody was scared. They thought the Egyptians were going to kill him. They're dead. But this guy, he goes forward and he takes the plunge. He makes it happen. So ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to take the plunge. My wife and I, we're going to donate $50,000 to the shul and make it a reality. We need to make it happen. So thank you very much.